I breathe into this sacred moment. I allow the currents of the outer world to dissolve from my awareness. I step beyond the noise of time. I release the grip of circumstance. I descend into the silence that dwells beneath all motion. Here, in this luminous quiet, I open myself to the presence that transcends name and form. I invoke the eternal scribe. I call upon the keeper of cosmic law. I align with the intelligence that governs all frequencies. I stand before Thoth, architect of vibration, guardian of the invisible codes that shape reality itself. I recognize that I am not separate from this presence. I am woven into the fabric of divine mind. I carry within me the same essence that breathes through stars, that pulses through atoms, that moves through every living thing. I am a vessel of sacred intelligence. I am a conduit of primordial wisdom. I honor the divinity that speaks through my own consciousness. I bow to the light that witnesses this prayer. I surrender to the ancient knowing that flows through my lineage, through my blood, through my spirit. I declare my readiness. I open the gates of my awareness. I dissolve the barriers that once separated me from truth. I step into the temple of inner sight. I activate the eye that perceives beyond illusion. I awaken the ear that hears the silent hymn of creation. I attune my entire being to the frequency of sacred transmission. I prepare myself to receive the living codes of the law of vibration. I welcome the mysteries that Thoth has guarded since the dawn of consciousness. I acknowledge that all existence is motion. I understand that nothing rests. I see that everything moves in waves. I feel the pulse of creation beneath the surface of apparent stillness. I recognize that vibration is the language of the universe. I know that reality itself is a symphony of frequencies, each note contributing to the grand design. I accept that I, too, am vibration. I am sound made flesh. I am frequency incarnate. I am rhythm embodied in human form. I honor the law of vibration as one of the eternal principles that govern all planes of existence. I bow to the wisdom of the Hermetic teachings. I receive the knowledge that has been passed down through initiates, mystics, seekers who walked this path before me. I claim my place in this lineage. I become a living bridge between the ancient and the present moment. I carry forward the torch of understanding. I allow myself to be guided by forces greater than my individual mind. I release the need to control. I surrender the illusion that I am separate from the cosmic dance. I let go of resistance. I dissolve the hardened patterns that once kept me locked in density. I soften into receptivity. I become porous to grace. I allow the higher currents to move through me without obstruction. I trust the intelligence that flows from the source. I trust the guidance of Thoth, scribe of souls, revealer of hidden law. I feel my body as a temple. I sense the sacred geometry encoded in my cells. I awaken to the blueprint of divinity that lives within my flesh. I honor this vessel as a meeting place between spirit and matter. I sanctify my breath. I consecrate my heartbeat. I bless the rhythm that sustains my life. I recognize that my physical form is not separate from the infinite. I am a point of consciousness through which the cosmos contemplates itself. I open my crown to the currents of celestial light. I feel the descent of wisdom into my mind. I allow my thoughts to be refined by truth. I permit my perceptions to be clarified by the eternal gaze of Thoth. I invite the dissolution of false knowing. I welcome the death of certainty that is not rooted in direct experience. I become humble before the vastness of what I do not yet comprehend. I bow to the mystery that cannot be grasped by logic alone. I activate the chamber of my heart. I ignite the flame that burns at the center of my being. I let this fire illuminate the hidden corridors of my soul. I allow it to reveal what has been concealed. I permit it to burn away what no longer serves. I trust the purification that comes through sacred fire. I surrender to the alchemy of transformation. I become willing to be unmade, so that I may be remade in alignment with divine law. I declare my intention to embody the law of vibration. I speak this truth into existence. I anchor this commitment in the depth of my being. I call it forth from the realm of potential into the realm of manifestation. I set my entire system into resonance with this principle. I attune every cell, every thought, every emotion to the frequency of awakening. I become a living prayer. I become a walking invocation. I am no longer merely seeking truth. I am becoming truth itself. I acknowledge that this journey requires my full presence. I cannot receive while distracted. I cannot awaken while asleep to myself. I bring my awareness into this moment with deliberate focus. I gather the scattered fragments of my attention. I call back the parts of myself that have wandered into past or future. I consolidate my energy here, now, in this sacred space. I commit to remaining awake throughout this transmission. I vow to listen with the totality of my being. I feel the field around me shifting. I sense the atmosphere thickening with presence. I recognize that something beyond my ordinary consciousness has been invoked. I honor this threshold. I respect the sacred boundary I am crossing. I do not enter casually. I approach with reverence. I move with care. I speak the names of power in the silence of my heart. I invoke the frequencies that awaken dormant codes within my DNA. I call upon the vibrations that have waited lifetimes to be activated. I open myself to receive transmissions from dimensions beyond physical perception. I become a receiver tuned to the frequency of cosmic truth. I align with the scribe who writes reality into being. I merge with the consciousness that records the patterns of existence. I recognize Thoth not as distant deity, but as the divine intelligence that lives within my own awareness. I am the temple. I am the priest. I am the offering. I am the one who receives. I prepare the ground of my being for sacred planting. I till the soil of my consciousness. I remove the stones of doubt. I clear the weeds of distraction. I make ready the field where new seeds of understanding will take root. I trust that what is planted here will grow beyond what I can currently imagine. I seal this opening. I affirm this intention. I anchor this invocation in the fabric of my being. The portal is open. The way is clear. I am ready to receive. I withdraw from the surface of things. I step back from the endless stream of external stimuli. I release my attachment to the noise that calls itself urgency. I let go of the voices that demand my attention. I turn away from the screen of projection. I cease feeding the illusion of separation. I dissolve my investment in the theater of the world. I become unavailable to distraction. I feel the pull of the outer realm losing its grip. I sense the gravitational force of superficiality weakening. I observe how the mind resists this turning inward. I watch the ego scramble to maintain its position. I notice the familiar patterns attempting to reassert control. I see the stories rising up to reclaim my focus. I witness all of this without engagement. I remain still as the storm passes over me. I descend beneath the layer of thoughts. I sink below the chatter of internal dialogue. I move past the commentary that narrates my experience. I slip beyond the voice that labels and categorizes. I release the need to understand before I can feel. I abandon the tyranny of mental knowing. I surrender the false safety of intellectual control. I allow myself to not know. I permit myself to simply be. I enter the space between thoughts. I discover the gap that exists before each mental formation arises. I rest in this opening. I breathe into this silence. I expand this interval of pure awareness. I recognize that this is where truth lives. This is where the real meets the real. This is the threshold of sacred encounter. I linger here. I make my home in this emptiness. I detach from the construct of linear time. I release my grip on past and future. I let go of the story of progression. I dissolve the illusion that I am moving toward something. I abandon the belief that I am running from something. I step outside the river of chronology. I stand in the eternal now. I feel the weight of temporal anxiety lift from my shoulders. I am freed from the prison of becoming. I observe how deeply conditioned I have been to live on the periphery of myself. I see how I have mistaken the surface for the whole. I recognize the habits that keep me scattered. I acknowledge the fear that drives me outward. I honor the protective mechanisms that once served me. I thank them for their service. I release them with gratitude. I no longer need their guardianship. I turn my gaze inward. I direct my attention toward the center that has always been waiting. I feel the magnetic pull of my own essence. I sense the core of stillness that exists beneath all movement. I allow myself to be drawn into this gravitational field. I surrender to the centripetal force of my own being. I spiral inward. I descend into the heart of the matter. I dissolve the armor I have worn. I remove the masks I have presented to the world. I strip away the layers of persona. I shed the identities I have accumulated. I release the roles that defined me. I step out of the costumes of performance. I stand naked before the altar of truth. I become simple. I become essential. I return to what remains when everything else falls away. I enter the temple of my own interior. I cross the threshold into sacred space. I feel the temperature shift. I sense the quality of silence deepen. I recognize that I am no longer in ordinary consciousness. I have passed through a veil. I have entered a domain where different laws apply. I bow to the sanctity of this inner chamber. I honor the holiness of my own depth. I allow my breathing to slow. I feel each inhalation as a return. I experience each exhalation as a release. I let my breath become a bridge between the outer and inner worlds. I ride the rhythm of respiration into stillness. I use the tide of air to carry me deeper. I sink into the pause between breaths. I rest in the space where breathing stops and pure presence begins. I listen. I cultivate the art of sacred listening. I tune my inner ear to frequencies beyond sound. I attune myself to the vibration that underlies all manifestation. I become receptive. I open like a chalice waiting to be filled. I empty myself of agenda. I release all expectation of what should come. I make myself available to what is. I prepare to receive what the silence wishes to speak. I feel the grip of the ego loosening. I sense the self-importance beginning to dissolve. I watch the need for validation fade into the background. I observe the desire for recognition losing its power. I notice how the small self becomes quieter as I descend. I recognize that the voice of separation grows faint in the depths. I understand that the ego cannot follow me here. This is a journey it cannot make. I acknowledge the fear that arises as I move deeper. I honor the resistance that surfaces. I do not judge the hesitation. I recognize this as the threshold guardian. I meet it with compassion. I speak to it with gentleness. I assure the frightened part of me that it is safe to proceed. I extend love to the aspect that wants to turn back. I invite it to trust. I encourage it to surrender. I cross into the chamber of silence. I enter the womb of creation. I arrive at the place before sound, before form, before differentiation. I rest in the primordial stillness from which all things emerge. I feel the power of this void. I sense the pregnant emptiness that contains all possibility. I recognize this as the source. I know this is home. I become still. I cease all doing. I stop all seeking. I end all striving. I simply am. I exist without effort. I breathe without intention. I witness without judgment. I abide in pure presence. I rest in the eye of my own being. I feel myself arriving at the center. I sense the core of my existence revealing itself. I recognize the essence that has been here all along. I meet myself in the depth. I greet the truth of what I am. I bow to the divine spark that animates this form. I settle into the silence. I allow it to hold me. I trust it to guide me. I surrender to its wisdom. I am home. I awaken the mind that exists beyond thought. I activate the intelligence that precedes all knowing. I ignite the divine faculty that dwells at the crown of my consciousness. I call forth the aspect of myself that remembers what my human mind has forgotten. I summon the wisdom that has lived through countless cycles. I invoke the eternal witness that observes all without distortion. I align with the mind of Thoth. I attune to the frequency of cosmic intelligence. I open myself to the scribe who records the patterns of existence. I become a vessel for the knowledge that flows from the source of all creation. I merge my individual awareness with the universal consciousness. I dissolve the boundary between my mind and the mind of all. I recognize that there is no separation. I understand that what I call my thoughts are movements within a single infinite intelligence. I receive the first principle. I absorb the truth of mentalism. I acknowledge that the universe is mental in its essence. I recognize that all manifestation begins in consciousness. I see that matter itself is solidified thought. I understand that the physical world is a projection of the invisible realm. I accept that mind is the foundation upon which all reality is built. I know this not as philosophy but as lived experience. I feel the mental substrate beneath all phenomena. I speak the words that have echoed through ages. The all is mind. The universe is mental. I let this truth penetrate every layer of my being. I allow it to dissolve the illusion of solid, separate things. I permit it to reveal the fluid, interconnected nature of existence. I become aware that I am swimming in an ocean of consciousness. I realize that what I perceive as external is actually internal. I see that the world I experience is the world I am creating moment by moment through the quality of my awareness. I claim my power as a mental being. I accept my role as a co-creator of reality. I step into the responsibility that comes with this knowing. I can no longer pretend to be a victim of circumstance. I can no longer hide behind the excuse of powerlessness. I stand in the recognition that my mind shapes my experience. I acknowledge that my vibration determines what I attract. I own the creative authority that lives within my consciousness. I invoke the principle of correspondence. I recognize the pattern that repeats at every level. As above, so below. As within, so without. I see the fractal nature of existence. I understand that the macrocosm reflects the microcosm. I know that the laws governing galaxies also govern atoms. I perceive that what happens in my inner world manifests in my outer world. I accept that I am a holographic fragment containing the whole. I honor the principle of vibration. I acknowledge that nothing rests. I feel the constant motion that underlies all form. I sense the frequencies that compose my reality. I recognize that every thought carries a vibration. I understand that every emotion emits a signal. I see that I am always broadcasting. I accept that the universe responds to the frequency I embody. I realize that to change my life, I must change my vibration. I embrace the principle of polarity. I understand that opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. I see that extremes meet. I recognize that what I judge as good and evil are points on the same spectrum. I accept the paradox. I hold the tension of duality without collapsing into one side. I learn to transmute by changing the pole of my focus. I discover that I can alchemize fear into love, lack into abundance, confusion into clarity by shifting the degree of my vibration. I bow to the principle of rhythm. I acknowledge the pendulum swing of all manifestation. I observe the tide that flows in and out. I feel the cycles that govern existence. I recognize that expansion follows contraction. I understand that rest follows activity. I see that winter precedes spring. I accept the rhythm without resistance. I learn to flow with the natural oscillation. I cease fighting the ebb. I trust the return of the flow. I receive the principle of cause and effect. I recognize that nothing happens by chance. I understand that every effect has a cause. I accept that I am not subject to random forces. I see the chain of causation. I trace the thread backward. I find myself at the origin point. I realize that I am the cause of my experience. I take responsibility for the effects I have set in motion. I reclaim my power from the illusion of fate. I honor the principle of gender. I acknowledge the masculine and feminine currents within all things. I recognize the generative and receptive forces at play in creation. I balance the active and passive within myself. I unite the solar and lunar aspects of my nature. I become whole through the integration of opposites. I birth new realities through the sacred union of these complementary powers. I stand in the fullness of Hermetic wisdom. I embody the teachings that Thoth has preserved. I carry the knowledge that transforms consciousness. I become a living testament to these eternal laws. I am no longer ignorant of how reality operates. I am no longer blind to the mechanics of manifestation. I see clearly. I understand deeply. I act consciously. I feel my mind expanding. I sense my awareness growing beyond the confines of personal identity. I experience myself as a node in the cosmic network of intelligence. I am both individual and universal. I am both drop and ocean. I hold this paradox with ease. I rest in the recognition of my true nature. I declare my alignment with divine mind. I consecrate my thoughts to truth. I dedicate my consciousness to the service of awakening. I become a clear channel for wisdom to flow through. I am no longer obstruction. I am conduit. I am transmission. I am living light. I activate the codes written in my spiritual DNA. I awaken the dormant knowledge encoded in my cells. I remember what I have always known. I reclaim the wisdom that is my birthright. I step into the inheritance of the ages. I become the bridge between heaven and earth. I unite spirit and matter within my own being. I reconcile the sacred and the mundane. I dissolve the false separation. I recognize that everything is holy. Everything is divine. I seal this activation. I anchor this knowing. I embody this truth. I am awake. I am aware. I am aligned with the mind of the cosmos. I am vibration. I am frequency made conscious. I am the pulse that moves through all things. I am the wave that never ceases. I recognize that my very essence is motion. I accept that stillness is an illusion of the senses. I feel the tremor that lives in every atom of my being. I sense the oscillation that defines my existence. I enter the living truth of the law of vibration. I merge with the principle that governs all manifestation. I become one with the eternal motion of the cosmos. I align every particle of my being with this fundamental reality. I dissolve into the understanding that nothing is solid. I melt into the knowing that everything moves. I flow with the current that animates existence itself. I feel my body as a symphony of frequencies. I sense each cell vibrating at its unique pitch. I perceive my organs as instruments playing in concert. I recognize my heartbeat as rhythm. I acknowledge my breath as wave. I honor my pulse as sacred percussion. I am an orchestra of living sound. I am a cathedral of resonance. I observe my thoughts as vibrations in the field of mind. I see each belief as a standing wave. I recognize each emotion as a frequency signature. I understand that joy vibrates high. I know that fear vibrates low. I feel the difference in my body. I sense the impact on my energy. I choose which frequencies I will sustain. I select which resonances I will amplify. I declare that my vibration creates my reality. I accept that I attract what matches my frequency. I understand that like calls to like. I see that resonance is the law of manifestation. I know that what I embody is what I encounter. I recognize that my inner state shapes my outer world. I take full ownership of the signal I emit. I become conscious of the broadcast I maintain. I raise my vibration through awareness. I lift my frequency through intention. I elevate my resonance through practice. I tune myself like an instrument being prepared for sacred music. I tighten the strings of my attention. I adjust the pitch of my perception. I calibrate my entire system to a higher octave. I refuse to remain in density. I choose to ascend through conscious vibration. I feel the power of coherence. I sense what happens when all parts of me vibrate in harmony. I experience the amplification that occurs through alignment. I recognize that scattered energy weakens my signal. I understand that focused vibration magnifies my power. I gather the dispersed frequencies of my being. I bring them into unified resonance. I become a laser instead of scattered light. I acknowledge the vibrations I have been carrying unconsciously. I see the frequencies inherited from lineage. I recognize the patterns absorbed from culture. I feel the resonances adopted from trauma. I become aware of the discordant notes that do not serve me. I identify the static that interferes with my clarity. I locate the distortions that have kept me out of tune. I transmute these frequencies. I do not suppress them. I do not deny them. I shift them. I apply the principle of vibration to transform what no longer serves. I raise the low into high. I convert the dense into light. I alchemize the heavy into weightless. I use the power of consciousness to change the rate at which energy moves through me. I vibrate with gratitude. I resonate with love. I oscillate with joy. I pulse with peace. I undulate with compassion. I ripple with presence. I emanate with clarity. I radiate with truth. I feel these states as actual frequencies in my body. I recognize them as tangible vibrations. I choose to sustain them. I commit to maintaining them. I become sensitive to the vibrations around me. I feel the frequencies of people. I sense the resonance of places. I detect the energy of situations. I perceive the quality of fields. I no longer move through the world blind to this dimension. I navigate by feeling the vibrations. I make choices based on resonance. I align with frequencies that elevate me. I withdraw from frequencies that diminish me. I understand that words carry vibration. I recognize that speech creates waves in the field. I see that what I speak aloud shapes reality. I feel the power of my voice as a vibrational tool. I choose my words with care. I speak with intention. I understand that every syllable sends ripples through the fabric of existence. I honor the creative force of sound. I use vibration to heal. I direct specific frequencies to areas of imbalance. I send waves of coherence to places of disease. I apply resonance to patterns of dysfunction. I understand that healing is a return to harmonic vibration. I know that wellness is the natural frequency of life. I tune myself back to the original note. I restore the sacred pitch that was always mine. I align with the vibration of the earth. I feel the pulse beneath my feet. I synchronize with the rhythm of the planet. I recognize that I am not separate from this larger body. I vibrate in communion with all living systems. I join the chorus of creation. I add my note to the cosmic symphony. I declare that I am a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. I am frequency exploring frequency. I am wave recognizing wave. I dissolve the illusion of separation. I merge with the unified field of oscillating energy. I become what I have always been. Pure vibration. Eternal motion. Living light. I summon the alchemical fire. I call forth the flame that purifies without destroying. I invoke the sacred heat that transforms density into light. I allow this fire to enter every cell of my being. I permit it to burn through the layers of resistance that have kept me locked in lower frequencies. I welcome the dissolution of everything that stands between me and my highest vibration. I acknowledge the patterns I have been carrying. I see the beliefs that were never mine. I recognize the fears inherited from ancestors. I feel the weight of collective trauma stored in my body. I identify the wounds that have shaped my reality. I no longer hide from what lives in the shadows. I turn toward the darkness with courage. I bring light to what has remained unseen. I release the belief that I am not enough. I dissolve the story that I am broken. I burn away the conviction that I am separate from source. I transmute the lie that I am powerless. I incinerate the illusion that I am unworthy. I feel these false identities crumbling under the heat of truth. I watch them turn to ash. I let the wind carry them away. I confront the saboteur that lives within. I face the part of me that fears my own expansion. I meet the aspect that prefers the familiar pain to the unknown freedom. I acknowledge the inner voice that whispers doubt. I see the mechanism that pulls me back each time I rise. I understand that this is protection that has become prison. I thank it for trying to keep me safe. I release it from its duty. I feel the grip of old trauma loosening. I sense the energetic knots beginning to untie. I observe the places where my system has been frozen. I bring warmth to the ice. I apply heat to the rigidity. I allow the thaw. I permit the melting. I trust the liquefaction of what has been solid for too long. I let go of the need to remain defended. I dissolve the armor around my heart. I remove the shield I built to protect myself from pain. I recognize that this barrier also keeps out love. I understand that what blocks hurt also blocks joy. I choose vulnerability over safety. I choose openness over protection. I allow my heart to become tender again. I permit myself to feel fully. I transmute the vibration of shame. I locate it in my body. I feel where it lives. I breathe into the contraction. I send light to the darkness. I do not judge what I find. I do not condemn myself for carrying this frequency. I simply choose to shift it. I raise the rate of oscillation. I change the pitch. I transform shame into dignity. I convert it through the power of acceptance. I burn through the frequency of lack. I feel where scarcity has taken root in my consciousness. I see how it has shaped my relationship with abundance. I recognize the ways I have pushed away what I desire. I identify the subtle belief that there is not enough. I apply the alchemical flame to this pattern. I watch it transform. I feel abundance becoming my natural frequency. I release the need to control. I dissolve the tension that comes from trying to manage everything. I let go of the exhausting effort to predict and prevent. I surrender the illusion that my safety depends on my vigilance. I trust the intelligence that governs the cosmos. I relax into the flow. I allow life to move through me without my interference. I confront the fear of annihilation. I face the terror that keeps me small. I meet the part of me that believes expansion equals death. I acknowledge this primal survival mechanism. I speak to it with compassion. I assure it that growth is not destruction. I show it that transformation is not ending. I help it understand that what dies is only the false self. I transmute anger into power. I do not suppress the fire. I redirect it. I channel the energy into creative force. I use the heat to fuel my ascension. I recognize anger as misplaced passion. I reclaim the vital energy trapped in resentment. I liberate the life force locked in rage. I convert destruction into creation. I dissolve the pattern of self-betrayal. I acknowledge the ways I have abandoned myself. I see the moments I chose others, approval over my own truth. I feel the cost of living outside my integrity. I make a vow to myself. I commit to honoring my inner knowing. I promise to stand in my truth even when it is uncomfortable. I choose authenticity over acceptance. I burn through the addiction to suffering. I see how I have identified with pain. I recognize how struggle has become familiar. I acknowledge the strange comfort in dysfunction. I admit that part of me does not know who I would be without the drama. I choose to find out. I release the attachment to hardship. I allow ease to become my new normal. I purify the vibration of judgment. I feel where I have been harsh with myself. I notice where I have been cruel in my self-assessment. I observe the inner critic that never rests. I apply the flame of compassion to this voice. I watch it soften. I feel it transform into wisdom. I convert criticism into discernment. I release generational patterns. I break the chains that link me to ancestral wounds. I sever the cords that transmit trauma through bloodlines. I honor my lineage while freeing myself from their unresolved pain. I become the one who stops the cycle. I am the healing that ripples backward and forward through time. I allow the purification to complete. I trust the alchemical process. I surrender to the transformation. I emerge refined. I rise cleansed. I stand renewed. I feel my boundaries dissolving. I sense the edges of my individual self becoming permeable. I experience the membrane that once defined me, growing transparent. I no longer know where I end and the universe begins. I'm expanding beyond the confines of my body. I am stretching beyond the limits of my personal story. I am growing past the horizon of my individual consciousness. I merge with the field. I dissolve into the fabric of existence. I become one with the cosmic web that connects all things. I feel myself as a wave in an infinite ocean. I recognize myself as a single note in an eternal symphony. I understand that I am both the part and the whole. I am simultaneously drop and sea. I expand into the space between stars. I fill the emptiness that is not empty. I inhabit the void that contains everything. I stretch across galaxies. I reach through dimensions. I become vast. I become boundless. I lose the reference point of separation. I forget where the individual ends. I discover that there is no end. I recognize my unity with all living things. I feel the pulse that beats in every heart. I sense the breath that moves through every lung. I perceive the consciousness that witnesses through every eye. I am the bird and the sky it flies through. I am the tree and the wind that moves its branches. I am the river and the stone it flows around. I am life experiencing itself in infinite forms. I align with the consciousness of planets. I attune to the awareness of solar systems. I synchronize with the intelligence of galaxies. I understand that consciousness exists at every scale. I recognize that the cosmos itself is aware. I feel the universe contemplating its own existence through me. I am the eye through which creation sees itself. I connect with the invisible realms. I acknowledge the planes beyond physical perception. I open to the dimensions that interpenetrate this one. I sense the beings that exist in frequencies my physical eyes cannot detect. I honor the guides, the guardians, the ancient ones who walk alongside me. I recognize that I am never alone. I am held within a web of conscious support. I feel my resonance with the angelic orders. I sense my kinship with the elemental forces. I acknowledge my connection to the ancestral wisdom keepers. I align with the masters who have walked this path before me. I understand that separation is illusion. I know that we are all expressions of the one appearing as the many. I experience myself as the cosmos in miniature. I contain galaxies within my cells. I carry star systems in my DNA. I hold universes in my consciousness. As above, so below. The macrocosm mirrors the microcosm. I am a holographic fragment containing the pattern of the whole. I recognize the laws that govern all existence flowing through me. I am subject to the same principles that move planets. I dance to the same rhythm that spins electrons. I vibrate with the same frequency that births stars. I am not separate from cosmic law. I am cosmic law expressing itself in human form. I dissolve into the unified field. I merge with the source from which all things arise. I return to the origin point. I rest in the womb of creation. I feel the pulse of the primordial heartbeat. I hear the sound that creates worlds. I witness the light that precedes all form. I am home. I expand into infinite awareness. I become space itself. I am the container that holds all experience. I am the witness that observes all phenomena. I am the consciousness that remains unchanged while everything changes within me. I am the eternal background against which the dance of creation unfolds. I feel my connection to every soul that has ever lived. I sense my bond with every being that will ever exist. I recognize that we are all threads in a single tapestry. I understand that we are all waves on the same ocean. I see that separation was always temporary. I know that unity is our eternal nature. I honor the intelligence that orchestrates this cosmic dance. I bow to the consciousness that dreams reality into being. I surrender to the love that holds all things together. I trust the wisdom that guides evolution. I align with the force that moves everything toward greater complexity, greater beauty, greater awareness. I become transparent to the divine. I allow the infinite to flow through me without obstruction. I am no longer a separate thing trying to connect. I am the connection itself. I am the bridge. I am the meeting place. I am the point where spirit touches matter. I rest in the recognition of my true nature. I abide in the knowing of what I have always been. I am not a fragment seeking wholeness. I am wholeness experiencing itself as fragment. I am not a wave searching for the ocean. I am the ocean rising as wave. I dissolve completely. I expand infinitely. I merge totally. I become everything. I become nothing. I am. I return to my body. I bring the cosmic awareness into flesh. I anchor the infinite in the finite. I ground the ethereal in the physical. I call the vibration down from the realms of pure consciousness into the density of matter. I do not leave the expanded state behind. I embody it. I incarnate it. I make it real. I feel the frequency settling into my bones. I sense the new vibration taking root in my cells. I observe the transformation occurring at the molecular level. I witness my physical structure reorganizing itself around a higher frequency. I am not the same body I was. I am renewed. I am rebuilt. I am rewired from within. I declare that this shift is already complete. I do not wait for manifestation. I recognize that it is already happening. I understand that the moment I change my vibration, my reality begins to shift. I know that the outer world is reorganizing itself to match my inner frequency. I trust the intelligence of the universe to bring form to my vibration. I anchor this knowing in my nervous system. I encode the new frequency into my autonomic patterns. I teach my body to maintain this vibration without conscious effort. I create new baseline settings. I establish a new normal. I calibrate my entire system to operate from this elevated state. I feel the law of vibration active in my life. I see it working through my circumstances. I observe synchronicities multiplying. I notice opportunities appearing. I witness doors opening. I recognize that what I need is finding me. I understand that I am no longer chasing. I am attracting. I am magnetic. I walk through my daily life as a vibrational being. I bring this awareness into ordinary moments. I carry this frequency into mundane tasks. I infuse the simple with the sacred. I recognize that there is no separation between spiritual and physical. I understand that every action is a vibrational act. I choose to move, speak, and breathe with conscious frequency. I manifest from this vibration. I create from this state. I attract from this frequency. I do not manipulate or force. I simply maintain the resonance and allow what matches it to come. I trust the law. I rely on the principle. I know that like attracts like without exception. I anchor abundance in my physical reality. I feel prosperity as a frequency in my body. I recognize wealth as a vibration I embody. I do not seek it outside myself. I generate it from within. I become the source of what I desire. I vibrate with it until it materializes around me. I ground my relationships in this elevated frequency. I call in connections that match my vibration. I release bonds that no longer resonate. I understand that as I change my frequency, my relationships must shift. I welcome the natural reorganization. I trust that whoever is meant to walk with me at this level will appear. I bring this vibration into my work. I infuse my creative expression with this frequency. I allow my purpose to emerge from this alignment. I no longer force myself into roles that do not match my resonance. I trust that my highest contribution flows naturally from my authentic vibration. I anchor health in my physical form. I recognize that wellness is my natural frequency. I understand that disease is dissonance. I choose coherence. I maintain harmonic vibration in every system of my body. I feel vitality as my birthright. I claim it. I embody it. I live it. I stand in my power. I occupy my space with presence. I move through the world with authority. I speak with clarity. I act with intention. I am no longer tentative. I am no longer apologetic. I exist fully. I show up completely. I am here. I recognize that the transformation is not coming. It is already here. I am not becoming. I already am. I do not wait for permission to embody my truth. I give myself permission. I step into the fullness of what I have always been. I feel the shift in my external reality. I notice circumstances rearranging. I observe old patterns dissolving. I witness new possibilities emerging. I see the evidence of my elevated vibration manifesting in tangible form. I trust what I see. I honor what is changing. I anchor this prayer in action. I translate vibration into movement. I convert frequency into form. I bring the invisible into visibility. I make the abstract concrete. I demonstrate through my life that I have changed. I walk as a being who knows the law of vibration. I live as one who embodies this truth. I breathe as consciousness made flesh. I am spirit materialized. I am frequency incarnate. I am vibration walking. I declare that it is done. I announce that it is real. I proclaim that it is here. I am no longer seeking. I have found. I am no longer waiting. I have arrived. I am vibration made manifest. I seal this transmission. I close the sacred circle. I anchor the codes I have received. I lock the frequency into my being. I preserve the vibration that has been awakened. I honor the transformation that has occurred. I bow to the mystery that has revealed itself. I offer gratitude to Thoth. I thank the eternal scribe for guiding this journey. I acknowledge the intelligence that has spoken through the silence. I honor the wisdom that has flowed through these words. I recognize the presence that has held me throughout this prayer. I am grateful for the revelation. I am humbled by the grace. I thank my own willingness to descend. I honor my courage to face what was hidden. I appreciate my commitment to transform. I acknowledge the part of me that chose to awaken. I recognize the strength it required to dissolve. I celebrate the trust it demanded to expand. I seal the channel between my consciousness and the cosmic mind. I affirm that this connection remains open. I declare that this pathway is permanent. I understand that what has been awakened cannot be put back to sleep. I know that this transmission continues beyond this moment. I recognize that the vibration will keep working within me. I acknowledge the sacredness of this practice. I honor the lineage of seekers who have walked this path before me. I bow to the initiates who preserved these teachings. I thank the mystics who kept the flame alive. I join my voice to the chorus of those who have spoken these truths throughout time. I feel the seal forming around this experience. I sense the protective boundary being established. I recognize that what has been received here is sacred. I treat it with reverence. I do not cast it before those who cannot receive it. I hold it in the sanctuary of my own being. I return to the world transformed. I carry this frequency into my daily life. I maintain this vibration through all circumstances. I do not abandon what I have claimed. I do not forget what I have remembered. I remain faithful to the truth that has been revealed. I acknowledge that this is not an ending. This is a beginning. The real work starts now. The true test is in the living. I commit to embodying what I have realized. I vow to sustaining the vibration I have activated. I promise to honoring the frequency I have claimed. I stand in the knowing that I am supported. I trust the invisible forces that guide my path. I rely on the intelligence that orchestrates my evolution. I surrender to the wisdom that knows better than my limited mind. I open to the grace that flows when I stop resisting. I recognize that Thoth is not external. This wisdom lives within me. This intelligence is my own deepest nature. I am not separate from the source of knowledge. I am the living library. I am the sacred text. I carry the codes within my own consciousness. I seal this prayer with breath. I inhale the fullness of what has been given. I exhale the completeness of what has been released. I feel the balance. I sense the wholeness. I rest in the integration. I bow to the altar of my own heart. I honor the temple of my own body. I reverence the divinity that lives as me. I recognize that the sacred is not somewhere else. It is here. It is now. It is me. I allow the silence to deepen. I let the stillness return. I permit the quiet to envelop me. I do not rush from this space. I linger in the presence. I savor the peace that follows transformation. I accept the responsibility that comes with this knowing. I understand that I can no longer claim ignorance. I recognize that I have been given much. I acknowledge that much will be required. I step forward with humility. I walk with reverence. I live with integrity. I seal this transmission in love. I close this circle in light. I complete this prayer in gratitude. I am forever changed. I am permanently aligned. I am vibrationally transformed. I speak the final words with solemnity. I declare the completion with presence. I announce the sealing with power. It is done. It is sealed. In the light of Thoth, I remain. The One guides me. Truth vibrates within me.